Aviation fans, welcome back to another episode of Imperial Diecast. It's been a while since I've last uploaded a plane review, and I thought in this one I'd treat you to a new aircraft type that hasn't been reviewed on my channel before, the McDonnell Douglas MD-11. So here's what the box looks like. As you can see, we have here a photo of, I believe this is the real plane. You've got the company logo up here. It says Herpa wings down here. And this is Herpa catalog number 503402. Here's a look at the back of the box. You can see that we have a wingspan of 51.8 meters, a length of 61.4 meters, and a height of 17.68 meters. So let's unbox it. Now, this is an old school Herpa model I picked up for €12, or 1/3 the price of what they charge these days for a brand new widebody with scale-accurate landing gear and extra print details. But we'll take a look at whether this ancient model from the turn of the millennium still manages to look impressive for the price, or not. And here it is. The McDonnell Douglas MD-11. The MD-11 was supposed to be the trijet of the 90s. It had a range of 13,200 kilometers, which is 3,500 kilometers more than the DC-10, and could seat up to 298 passengers. The problem were its competitors. Airbus at the time couldn't really compete because the A330 wasn't out yet, and even after it came out it lacked the range and seating, and the A340 was a quadjet. But by the mid-90s, Boeing unveiled the 777, a massive twinjet that could do basically everything the MD-11 could, but only needed 2 engines, which made MD-11 sales pretty much slump after 1995, and the MD-11 program ended the following year in 1996, although production ran till the year 2000. Varig was Brazil's oldest airline, founded in 1927, and from the 1960s to the 1990s it was Brazil's only international airline. It ceased operations in 2006 due to financial troubles, and its assets were absorbed into Gol Airlines, which had been founded just a few years earlier. Now it's worth noting that this is the second release by Herpa from 1999 to 2002. Because the first release from 1998 had the titles on the port side of the aircraft incorrectly written as Brasil Varig instead of Varig Brasil. Also, there was no Star Alliance logo or aft fuselage registration on the first release. Herpa never made a new generation version of the MD-11 in this livery, so for fans of Varig and MD-11s, this OG release still has value today, I'd say. Let's take a closer look. So we'll begin our review taking a look at the port side of the aircraft, and you can see right here, left of the L1 door, we have the Star Alliance logo. And then we have the L1 door with a porthole. We've got the Varig Brazil title in the correct order. The L2 door, the L3 emergency exit, and then the L4 door at the back, with the registration of the aircraft being Papa Papa, Victor Romeo Golf. And right next to it we also have a flag of Brazil. And then of course we have the vertical stabilizer with the beautiful compass that is the logo of Varig, and the last 2 letters of the aircraft registration. The vertical stabilizer also has a silver leading edge, just like the engine cowling of the number 2 engine. And if we take a look at the horizontal stabilizers, you can see that they don't really have much detail except for the silver leading edge. And now taking a look at the wings of the plane, You can see that Herpa has done a pretty solid job on the wings. Starting from the winglets, all the flap slats, air brakes, ailerons are all carved pretty visibly. There's not a thick layer of paint over them or anything. And from this angle you can also see that the horizontal stabilizers have elevators, which are also split in two, as you can see right here. Not sure if it's like that on the real plane, because I don't think there is one over here, like a split. Maybe there is, but this one's more visible. Anyway, looks good. The MD-11 is powered by 3 General Electric CF6s, and you can see that aside from the silver engine cowlings, Herpa has put in a good amount of detail highlighting the fan blades. Even engine number 2 has fan blades modeled inside. And taking a look at the front of the aircraft, you can see that these older Herpas do not have any cockpit window frames, window wipers, and things like that, but they still manage to get the shape of the windows right, and overall they look pretty convincing in relation to the rest of the plane. And here's a look at the starboard side of the Varig Brasil MD-11, and you can see that this side also looks identical to the port side, and that is because there are no cargo doors on this OG Herpa. And if you look closely, right below the white and blue border of the livery, you'll notice a thin, checkered, light blue trim line, which Herpa didn't forget to replicate. We also have the clunky landing gear of the old generation models, but I think that on a wide body they don't look that odd. Now, the engines could have used a little bit more detail. I mean, mine does have a little marking on it, like a scrape or something, but that's just a fault of my model and not of the plane. You can see that the rear of the number 2 engine also looks okay, although the front part is missing a slight bulging. And now if we take a look at the bottom of the plane, you can see that it has a blue underbelly, true to the Varig livery of the time. It has a middle landing gear, it says Herpa, and you can see some detail for the trailing edge fairings. The slats also look pretty good. So yeah. And here's a comparison between the 2 McDonnell Douglas widebodies, the MD-11 and its predecessor, the DC-10. The easiest way to tell them apart is that the MD-11 has winglets, while the DC-10 doesn't. It's also interesting. Despite being longer, the MD-11 has a smaller vertical stabilizer than the DC-10. But yeah, just in terms of overall dimensions, you can see how the MD-11 is basically an improved and longer DC-10. However, McDonnell Douglas's failure to really innovate, apart from these slight improvements, is probably what sealed their downfall in the 90s. Because while trijet widebodies were definitely an innovation compared to the Boeing 747 in the 1970s, by the 90s they had lost quite a bit of their leading edge. I hope you guys liked my review of the 1/500 scale McDonnell Douglas MD-11 in the Varig Brasil livery, which I think is a really fantastic livery that suits the MD-11 really well. If you're interested in more reviews like this, be sure to check out my other 1/500 scale reviews right here. And as always, guys, take care, have a wonderful day, and this is Imperial Diecast, signing out.